Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who has been making espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. And one of the things that I love about this company is their innovation and their reliability. And one of the machines that is epitome of this, and something I recommend to people all the time, is the Linea PB. It's consistent, reliable, durable. The technology within the machine allows you to rest easy knowing that within that reliability and durability is innovative technology that creates consistent espresso and allows your baristas to focus on crafting wonderful drinks for your wonderful customers. And of course, the Linea PB is one of many types of espresso machines that La Marzocco has to offer. And I would encourage you, if you want to learn more about what they have to offer, talk to one of their salespeople. You can email info@lamarzocousa.com to do just that. Visit the website too, lamarzocousa.com. They have such an amazing reputation in the industry for a very good reason. And it's because their equipment helps build your reputation for quality and consistency. Love La Marzocco, and I think you will as well. Again, check them out at lamarzocousa.com. And when you do reach out to La Marzocco, be sure to tell them that you heard about them on Keys to the Shop. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who creates custom-branded mobile apps for the specialty coffee retail community. This helps you stand out from your competition. It is a part of you in the phone of your customer. I mean, it really is simple and beautiful. It helps marry the convenience of mobile ordering with the feel of your business, and it's a win-win there, in my opinion. But not only that, it offers a centralized loyalty program for each coffee shop within Square. Your customers earn and redeem points either in the mobile app or in person. This really drives repeat orders from customers as they are encouraged to earn points. It's fully customizable in Square for how points are earned and redeemed. And Espressly does not charge a separate fee for having loyalty turned on in the app. This is just one of the great things about Espressly among many. So go ahead and reach out, espressly.co, and have a conversation with them. I think it's a great option, and they are awesome people over there at Espressly. Again, check them out over at espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today we are going to be talking about your example. And of course, tongue in cheek, if those of you who were around and cognizant in the 90s recognize or maybe it was the 80s. I'm not even sure, honestly. They kind of meshed up together for me. But I am a child mostly of the 80s and significantly of the 90s as well. So I kind of straddle both because I was born in 1978. But point is, there was that commercial warning people against, recreational drug use. They were talking about where the fathers find something in the son's dresser drawer, and he says, "Who taught you how to do this? Who?" And the son says, "You, okay? I learned it from watching you." And this is exactly the kind of thing that we fail to see happening within our own coffee shops, where we want to import talent, but an aptitude, an attitude. We want to get people to come work for us who have great attitudes and they will help the culture, and we want great people. But how is it that we are keeping ourselves accountable for the example we are setting? Most of the time, it's kind of like when you drive home and you really don't pay attention. You're driving and maybe you're even driving safe, but when you get home, you're like, I don't even remember driving home. I'm not drunk or anything. It was on autopilot. And that is kind of the way that we live our professional lives sometimes. We don't realize the example that we're setting because we're just day in, day out doing the work, and it's this monotonous, almost hypnotic state where when there's a disruption, usually when somebody puts their 2 weeks notice in, or we notice a problem in the cafe, it shakes us out of that hypnosis. And because we were not present for our own input into this culture or the example that we set, we never really think about it that it may have been something that we did. Some of the most grumpy people that I see behind the bar sometimes are the owners. And it may be because they have built up a lot of angst around different issues in the cafe because they know the deep issues that the cafe has, especially the financial ones. And for a lot of owners, the people represent dollar signs because they are so concerned about the money. And usually this is because the financial aspect of having a business like a coffee shop is so difficult, because that's not exactly why we got into coffee, because we love financial management. We like coffee, we like people, and then all of a sudden there's all of this financial management that has to happen, and it's so overwhelming that it becomes the thing that colors our entire world. And that souring of our attitude really creates the primary example that baristas will then follow. And not only will they follow your example, but they will fill in the gaps where you leave room for interpretation. And maybe there's a dereliction of duty and absenteeism where you're not really giving people the tools to do the job, but you are expecting a lot from people that aren't given much. Of course, the culture is going to go off the rails. And so we have to really focus first on, how is it that I am behaving when I am in the cafe? Am I the kind of employee that I would actually hire? In fact, that reminds me of a shift break that we did a long time ago, which was called, Would You Hire You? If you put in a resume, if you put in an application, and you could take a snapshot of the way that you have been conducting yourself over the past week or 2 weeks, would you say that you are the exemplary barista in terms of character traits and attitude and all that other stuff that we like to judge other people on? So if we're not going to level this kind of an assessment against ourselves, or to ourselves, I should say, then it's really not fair to hold other people accountable for a standard we're not willing to hold ourselves accountable for. So it really starts first with figuring out, okay, what example am I setting? And having some time in your day where you can reflect honestly on that question. And when other people talk to you about it, if you've already been practiced in this, it's not going to become offensive, because this is something you want to do. You volunteered to do it. And you don't want to be that dad who has the kids saying, "You, all right, I learned it from watching you." And how can you tell somebody that, they're going to get a write-up for doing something that you, the owner, have basically said is okay to do? Now, you might say, well, it's my business. I can do what I want. They can't do what they want, but I can do what I want. And I say that's a really immature way of thinking about it. Now, that might apply to certain things like permissions for, financial management or access to certain things. Like within reason, that would be a good excuse. But I'm talking about just common behaviors related to, follow through and communication and humility and the kind of things that really bind a team together, the good faith that we all have and we should be working to uphold as a group. You are part of this group of people as the owner. You have a role to play, just like a barista, just like a trainer. And as you reflect on your own performance, you'll have a better idea of the kind of example that you are giving to others. So you're less likely to have those moments where you realize that, gosh, I guess it is me. That I'm putting it out there that it's okay to treat guests that way. I'm responding to customer reviews that are less than generous of our cafe in such a visceral way. And all of a sudden I'm disappointed with our staff when they're not loving and hospitable to our customers. When they see me, it seems like the only communication I have about our customers is when I'm frustrated at them. That's the kind of thing you could find out if you just took inventory, took stock of how it is you've been moving in the space and what example you've been setting. So I would encourage you to take some time to do that and make it a regular occurrence. As you do, I think you're going to start to see a little bit healthier culture emerge, and you're going to start to find a little bit more peace of mind yourself, knowing that you are not just leading with the hope that people will do the right thing, but that you yourself are doing the right thing, and the integrity that you get from that will lead to a stronger business and a stronger team. So I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in, and I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.